going on, YouTube? Just coming through with another update. As you can tell, I'm not in the best condition right now. But aside from that, I just wanted to talk about something that crossed my mind yesterday. And that's my birthday. That's coming up in a month. I'll be 28 years old and still a virgin. Nothing has changed in that aspect of my life. In fact, I think I've moved further away from losing it. I feel like 2 years ago, I'd have a better chance than I do now, but it is what it is. Not really going to worry about it too much. I just want to kind of elaborate on what I think is going to happen from here on out. Seeing as how it's gotten a little harder for me to socialize and stuff. I can only imagine. I feel like I've become more insecure as I grew older than when I was just young and dumb and didn't know anything. It seems like it gradually gets harder to get out to meet people because you develop these more insecurities and stuff. And thus, casting me into, well, for lack of a better word, I've missed the boat, per se. Me losing my virginity now, it's not going to happen. I think it has to happen by 25, for males. For females, it doesn't really matter. They can lose it at any time. But for guys, you kind of have like a time limit to lose your virginity, and I think that time limit cuts off at 25, because after that you start developing mental problems because of it. People start looking at you weird and stuff, and some people may respect you for it, but it goes beyond that, because then it starts emotionally draining you. Becomes something you think about constantly, like, why am I not good enough? You know, and it's nothing against the people out there. It's just something that you struggle with internally, and it gets worse as each year passes by. But yeah, once you hit that 25 mark, and any virgin over 25 will probably agree with me on that. It definitely gets rough after the 25 mark. If you're below 25, you still have some time. Probably consider using that time wisely, and maybe even paying for it before it gets that late. Because once it hits 25, the boat's sailed, and this isn't just. It just isn't the virginity thing that's gonna hold you back after 25. It's the psychological issues that develop for lack of being wanted for an extended period of time. Definitely plays a large part in that. And then for me personally, I have a lot of personal hang-ups now. Like, per se, I'm not as interested in pursuing women as I am other things in my life right now. In fact, I would go beyond to say at this point in my life, I think that it's personally for me a waste of time to pursue women, because it's always going to end up in rejection. So why even waste my time with it? And yeah, there's times that I get lonely, but right now I'm not really. I feel like it's not that big of a deal. And I've largely changed my outlook on it. Like, and you start to see women and how they manipulate people and the game and how it's played, and how degenerate it really is, because these girls are out there fucking 50, 60 dudes, and they won't give you the time of day. But at the same time, you gotta sit back and realize, do I really want a girl who's been ran through 100 dudes, 200 guys that's already ran through her? Is that something that I personally want? And I start to open my eyes and realize there's a lot less girls that I would be interested in now than there was before. So that's one of my personal hang-ups. Another one is, of course, if we can get past the fact that they can get over the fact that I'm a virgin and inexperienced, then we dive into my personal problems, and they may not be suited for me because now I've developed these sort of mentality that, or I've developed these standards that I didn't used to have back when I was younger, that's really just recently developed. Kind of creating my own standards for girls, even though I'm not up to par with my own standards, which is why I won't even approach a girl right now, is because I need to reach my own standards before I can expect a girl to have standards. But that's a whole other thing within itself. So but that is part of the another hang up. That's another hang up on top of the other hang ups that I have. So basically I have a couple hang ups. One, I'm not meeting my own standards. Two, there's not a whole lot of girls that would meet my standards. Three, there's not a whole lot of girls that would see past the virginity thing as a positive thing, especially in today's society where everything's over-sexualized. And for the emotional and psychological issues that develop from being alone and unwanted for an extended period of time. And then, number 6, the insecurities that develop between your early 20s and late 20s, and gradually they get fortified. So that's a lot harder to deal with now. Like I said, I probably have lower self-esteem and more self-conscious than I was when I was younger, and I wasn't even really aware of these things. And then number 7 is, assuming we can get through all of these things, I may not be physically attractive enough for her. I may not have enough income for her. Pretty much the only way I'm going to get laid at this point is if I put forth a massive sum of money. And we're not talking about a couple hundred, probably a couple grand is what we're looking at. And maybe even more than that, probably like 10 grand. But realistically, that's not going to be feasible in the next couple of years because, like I said, I'm working. I'm making more than minimum wage now, so that's nice. But I'm not making enough to where I would have 10 grand in a short period of time, or even over a relatively long period of time. It just isn't something that's going to be feasible within the next 10 years. Unless I get promoted or I win the lottery or something like that happens, there's nothing that I can really there's nothing that can really push me over that 10K mark. Aside from that, those are pretty much all the hang-ups that I have with that. And a lot of these didn't develop till after 25, like the fortifying of the insecurities and self-esteem, the standards for women. It's no longer about, am I good enough for her? Is she going to be good enough for me? Because I already know I'm not good enough for a lot of these girls, but now it's becoming a two-way street, for me anyway. I'm just not going to settle for anything anymore. Like I said, it spawns from seeing all these girls fuck 200, 300 dudes. And it's just like, I really don't want to be a part of that. Another guy on the list, per se. So, it's a lot of it developed after 25, which is going to become increasingly harder as I grow older. You could say that I'm growing bitter towards women, but I think it's more of like I'm starting to realize what I want out of life versus what's out there, and kind of trying to find a middle ground, I guess. But even if I die a virgin, not a big deal. There's been a couple famous people that have died virgins, like Isaac Newton, Nikola Tesla. So it's not really out of the realms of possibilities, but more than likely what will happen from here is sometime in the next couple of years, I'll work to advance my position in life, and then if I can save up enough money, I'll probably go to Tibet and become a monk and live out the rest of my life in celibacy and training in some form of martial arts, and really just kind of breaking away from a society that I don't really belong in. And that's something I hate to say, but the morals and principles that I have don't mesh well with the morals and principles of society. Not something that I really blend in well with. And like I said, getting girls, it used to be a really top priority for me. So it's not anymore. So as I go forward, the chances of me being a virgin when I die has increased drastically. And really, I honestly don't really care at this point. It's just something that, you'd have to be me for a minute to really understand it, but it's just something that's probably out for my personal best interest at this point. Because, like I said, it's too late in the game. I've already missed the boat. I can't go back in time and fix what I fucked up. What's done is done. I've sealed my fate as a virgin for the rest of my life. But hope you guys learned something from me and don't follow in my steps, so that way you guys aren't ending up like I am, because we don't need any more of people like me in the world. One is fucking way more than enough, and any more than that, man, that's just devastating. But yeah, don't follow in my steps. Don't turn out to be like me. I got my own plans at this point. That's probably the best advice that I can give you. If you can watch some of my videos and follow up on those, don't follow the path that I took. Kind of go your own path and break out of the cycle, and don't let it become too late. So that would be my advice. Get out more and experience life. Aside from that, I hope you guys are having a good week. Like I said, I'm not really in the best state or condition right now, but hopefully that'll improve soon. Aside from that, I hope you guys are having a good week, good day. Hope you have a good next weekend, good Memorial Day weekend. Get some barbecue or whatever you do to celebrate. And hopefully I'll be back with another update. These things are going to be unpredictable at the moment, unfortunately. Like I said, I'm kind of going through some weird times right now, rough times, weird times, all sorts of times. But hopefully things will be back to normal here in about a month or so. Just a rough estimate, not even really sure about that, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Aside from that, like I said, good week, good weekend, good Memorial Day weekend, and I hope you guys are having a good day, and take care.